The very first thing is today I am going to particularly present on molecular dynamic simulations. So before starting the presentation, this is basically my email ID. You can just note it down. Why? Because just in case if you have any questions, even afterwards, after this particular webinar, so we have enough time for a question and answer session, as I know. So most means all of your questions will be addressed in this particular session only. But even in case if you have any questions afterwards, or you want to discuss about project or related to molecular dynamic simulations or related to the Schrodinger software, I'll be happy to help with it. So don't hesitate to contact me at this particular email ID. You can always reach out to me for any type of scientific help. So, as said, I'm working as a senior scientist at Schrodinger Bangalore office. And so today I am going to specifically focus on molecular dynamic simulations, its methodology, and its application. But before that, I will also briefly cover the basics of molecular dynamic simulation or the history of molecular dynamic simulation from where it started. So believe me, it's really easy to perform molecular dynamic simulations, and not only easy to perform, but also it is easy to analyze the molecular dynamic simulation results, which is very much tricky. But with the help of Schrodinger suite, we made it that much easy that anybody can perform MD simulation and analysis also. So that is why I have specifically mentioned at the easiest way to study real-time conformational changes in biomolecules. So in coming
Excuse
slides, we are
me,
going to see.
excuse me,
Yeah,
Dr. Prajwal. Your screen is not shared. It
really? Okay.
actually, I am not able to see your screen. Is can anybody else could see that?
No, ma'am. Ma'am, it
No,
is not
madam.
shared.
So please do
Oh,
that.
Unshare your screen. Surya sir, please unshare your screen.
uh-huh. Yeah, now I think now
Now
what's
Yes, sir.
Yes.
it
Now
is
it is
visible.
visible.
oh okay, no problem, it's fine. So what about now? Full screen, is it?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, now it is
Oh,
in full screen.
okay, great. Okay, great. So that I think that was my mistake. I did not share. So okay. So first thing is, as I mentioned, here is my email ID, which you can note it down. It's prajwal@schrodinger.com. You can always feel free to contact me even afterwards if you want to discuss about it. So so basically, with the Schrodinger, the things comes very much easy. So I think there is some guest request coming. So can anybody please allow that one?
Mr. Surya, please take care of those.
Yeah. So there are some pop-up messages, and yeah. Before starting it, I request all of the participants to please keep it on mute mode so that there is no background disturbance while talking. So thanks for understanding. And okay, so this is what I was emphasizing on, how easy it is to perform molecular dynamic simulations and how easy it is to see those real-time conformational changes with the help of computational methods. So that will be the main focus of my talk. And my advantage my advantage is to so welcome and morning to all of you. So I think here is my email ID. So today I am going to discuss about the basics of drug designing. So the basics of drug designing, like how drugs bind to receptor. So this is what we should gain a drug discovery or in the drug designing. So it's all move around how drug binds to the receptor. If you could know how it binds to the receptor, like we could find out its mechanism, and in this way we could design the better drug also. So what lies in the background of it is, you know, in our body there are many receptors, enzymes, proteins, DNA, or any biomolecules are present. Those proteins can act as a receptor for any type of drug molecule or substrate or inhibitor. So basically it follows the lock and key model. So this is what is really basic and primitive. So I would not spend much time, but I just wanted to include it. So it's a lock, it follows the lock and key model. So basically your lock resembles to the enzyme or receptor and key resembles to the substrate inhibitor or drug molecule. So it is just like a combination of lock and key. For any lock, there is a specific key. So not all keys work for the lock. The same way it happens in the enzyme or receptor. Not all molecules or chemical moieties fit inside it. But the overall idea of drug designing is to find out that specific key which fits best inside the lock and which helps to open or close the lock. So this is what we need to do in drug designing. So imagine you have a structure of lock with you, and then in the whole world you have millions and billions of keys are available. So those keys are nothing but the chemical moieties or small organic molecules. So you have billions of such molecules which are available. So overall idea is to find out that best key, that best particular molecule which fits perfectly inside the molecule protein structure. So to find out that key, we can use high throughput virtual screening methods like molecular docking, pharmacophore mapping, or there are many computer aided drug designing techniques. So with the help of software, basically we could able to see what is the structure of lock, how it looks inside, what are the functional group, what are the levers which are present inside the lock. So that is only possible with the help of microscope, good microscope. We call that microscope as a molecular microscope. So that molecular microscope is nothing but our software, like Schrodinger software. So with the help of software we try to find out how the lock looks inside, how the key looks inside. And then when you find out how it looks, we could find out the complementary features which are present in lock and key, which are present in receptor and drug. And accordingly, we could design the best possible key or best possible drug molecule against that particular target. So this is what the whole theory behind drug designing, and specifically computer aided drug designing, because we do it with the help of computers. But in whole story, you have seen, like, you have the lock which is static in nature, so it doesn't move. But is it a real situation, your lock, whether your lock is static or not, whether the receptor present in body is static or not? So the obvious answer is no, it is not at all static, it's all moving. So because it's moving, so it increases the complexity. Because of that motion, the binding site volume or binding site size get changed, the conformation of amino acid residues get changed. So that is the reason why you need to find out the key which fits better, not only in static structure but in the moving structure. It is just like a open heart surgery. The heart is beating, you need to make surgery, make heart functional, but you don't need to, you should not stop the heart, means it is still going on. So same way protein is also going on, and accordingly you need to design a best drug molecule against this particular protein. So as I said, because there are billions of such keys which are available in the whole universe, so you need to screen all those keys to find out which key fits better inside the lock. And for that we take the help of high throughput virtual screening methods like molecular docking. So overall in molecular docking, we consider protein as a rigid molecule, means protein is not moving. But fortunately we could consider ligand as a flexible because it's a small molecule. So what does happens in the molecular docking is, you have a ligand molecule, it has a particular shape or it has a particular conformation. So what software does, software tries to generate various conformations of the ligand molecule. We call it as conformational sampling method. And it tries to generate various shapes of that ligand molecule. So this is what software does in the background. And then when it generates various shape of the ligand molecule, it tries to fit each and every shape inside the protein binding pocket. So you have a receptor. As I said, in case of molecular docking, we consider a protein as a rigid body because it's a high throughput method. So you have a particular shape of the protein, particular shape of cavity inside the protein, but that that is again static in nature. It is not at all changing, but the shape of ligands are changing. So it tries to fit each and every shape inside the binding pocket, which is static. And then finally you see like it generates various poses of ligand molecule inside the protein binding pocket. And so based on that poses, it tries to assign some docking score, docking energy. So, and based on that, one could filter out which ligands molecules are of our interest. So this is what the whole story we follow in case of molecular docking, in which we consider receptor as a rigid. But again, the question comes is whether the lock or receptor is static in nature. So as I said, no, it is not at all static in nature. It is all moving. So you need to have the methodology through which one could find not only ligand is flexible, but protein should also be flexible. And then accordingly, you need to find out how the ligand fits inside it while everything is moving, and how it stays there, and what is their binding energy. So if you could achieve this, then that's the actual high level of drug designing with the help of computational methods. So as I said, most of the time you get the protein structure from the protein data bank. So whenever you have protein structure, you need to get it from protein data bank from other experimental sources. So but we should not remember, we should not forget one thing, that whatever crystal structure we have in the protein data bank, though it's a experimentally determined structure, but still it is just a snapshot of the complete ensemble of the protein structure which is moving. So ensemble means nothing but the conformational ensemble. Just example, like it is the movie. The movie is playing, your protein is moving, all atoms of the proteins are moving, and then crystallographer comes into picture, and it makes the crystal of that particular protein structure, which is nothing but the static frame of the complete movie. So you are not seeing actually the movie in case of crystallography, but you just pause that particular movie, then you took the screenshot, and then you resolved that particular screenshot and deposited it in a protein data bank. I'm sorry, but there is a lot of background noise. So could you please keep it on mute mode?
This is a request to audience participants to please mute their mics.
Yes.
Dipti madam. Okay, sir.
Yes.
Now it is
Thank you very
fine.
much.
Okay, sir. Please continue.
Seems to
Sir.
be. Yep, thank you. So this is what crystallographer does. They basically stop the movie, pause it, and then take a screenshot of it, and then resolve that particular screenshot and deposit it in a protein data bank in the form of crystal structure. So though it is experimentally determined structure, it's a really good starting point. But that is not a whole story. That is not basically a movie. So how one could see the movie, or how one could generate that particular movie from the given screenshot? For that, we use the method called molecular dynamic simulation. So it is possible to generate movie from the single screenshot with the help of computers and the molecular dynamic simulation method. So this is what we are going to see it now in the detail. So how it is. So basically protein, so far we have learned that protein is flexible. So you can resemble this whole story with the various conformations of protein, just like human. You can see we have a human. So if human is static in nature, it means it is dead. So just like a protein, if protein is static in nature, it means that protein is dead. But until unless protein is moving, it means the protein is alive. The same like human. So we have arms, legs, and everything. And until unless it is all moving, it means we are alive. We are doing our function. It's a functional human. So same way you have a functional protein. So whenever protein moves, there are a lot of things which are happening inside the protein. Means if you simply see, not only the shape of protein but also the shape of binding pocket which gets changed, while everything is moving. It can generate a new sub pocket. It can mm, basically close any other sub pocket. It can also follow the allosteric mechanism if it is moving. It can generate various tunnels. It can open those tunnels. It can close those tunnels. There are breathing motions which are happening inside the binding pocket. So many things are happening whenever protein is moving, and then we need to basically look into that all motions which are there. And whenever protein is moving a lot using molecular dynamic simulations, or whenever protein is moving in actual environment. So it means the message we got is we need to have protein which is moving in nature to study its real-time conformational changes and to study the efficient drug designing. If it is static, then we are not really looking into the complete picture, but to see the complete picture we need it in a moving motion. So now we have seen molecular docking as a methodology in which we consider protein as a static structure. So you can imagine there are various levels of flexibilities which one could incorporate inside the computer aided drug designing, and one of the method is high throughput virtual screening method, which is molecular docking. So you can imagine the structure of ligand is flexible in that methodology, but structure of protein is completely rigid. It's absolutely rigid. So we can use this methodology for screening of billions of compound, but but we can't study the complete all flexibility properties using molecular dynamic molecular docking methods. But then next thing comes into picture is induced feed docking. So in induced feed docking, it's not the complete structure of protein which is flexible, but we can consider binding pocket amino acid residues of the protein are flexible. So this is what the method which is present in Schrodinger suit. It's the name of method is induced feed docking. It's a little bit computationally expensive and time consuming than molecular docking, but in this method one can keep basically the protein binding pocket residues as flexible so that it can accommodate various binding shapes, and it could accommodate even bigger ligands inside the binding pocket. So basically amino acid residues changes the conformation as per the position of ligand and its interaction. So this is the middle level of flexibility which we could incorporate, in which we can't consider complete protein as flexible, but just a binding pocket residues. And then comes to the highest level of molecular modeling, which is nothing but the molecular dynamic simulations, in which we try to simulate the actual experimental conditions like temperature, pressure, ionic strength, pH conditions, how much it is how much it is solvated, so which solvent we have used. So all the experimental conditions exactly we can mimic it in a computers with the help of molecular dynamic simulation method, in which we can just consider everything as a flexible. It's a protein which is flexible, ligand is flexible, ions are flexible, water is flexible, everything which is present inside the system, the complete box, it is all flexible. You can simply correlate it with the experimentalist, let's say test tube or the beaker where experimentalists perform experiments, in which he puts protein, he puts ligand, the chemical, then water to solvate it, or any other type of solvent, or ions to maintain the pH conditions, to ionize, to neutralize the system. So everything we consider it in a beaker or in a test tube, and imagine the same thing is happening inside the computer. So with the help of molecular dynamic simulations we can study that much levels of details or conformational changes occurring in the real time. So this is what is the focus of today's discussion, the molecular dynamic simulations. So the question comes, why do we need molecular dynamic simulations, and what it exactly is and what is the power of it? So to demonstrate the power of MD simulation is we have simulated the how water boils basically. How water boils whenever you put it in a beaker or in the test tube. So what happens actually when water boils? What happens at atomic level? So basically in test tube you can't see water at atomic level. What is exactly happening whenever you heat up the water and whenever you boil the water? So let me demonstrate you what happens actually when you boils the water. So on left hand side you have a MD simulation trajectory. You can see everything is moving. The middle one is the water molecule, the red color is oxygen and white colors are hydrogen. So H2O is the water molecule, and the same way the surrounding are also water molecules only. So, but I have only focused on single water molecule which is present at a middle just to show what is happening. So this is the molecular dynamic simulation which was run at 298 Kelvin, which is room temperature basically. So at room temperature, you know, water is present in a liquid phase. So why it is present in a liquid phase? So maybe most of you already know about it, that water is present in liquid phase because of intermolecular interactions. And what are those intermolecular interactions? So there are hydrogen bonding interactions which could happen between the water molecules whenever it is present in the liquid phase. But at atomic detail, you can actually see how many hydrogen bonding interactions are happening. So those hydrogen bonding interactions are denoted here in dash yellow color line. So these are nothing but the hydrogen bonding interactions which are occurring between the water molecules, so surrounding water molecules and this middle water molecule. So you can count it at any given point. There are around 4 hydrogen bonding interactions which are happening. So 2 are with the hydrogen atom and 2 are with the oxygen lone pair. So it means the 4 hydrogen bonding interactions which are occurring between surrounding water molecules. So that is the reason why water stays intact and it is still present in the liquid phase in case of room temperature simulation. But in computers only we have increased the conditions, that let's increase the temperature up to the boiling point, and let's simulate it and see what happens. So now when we simulated it at a boiling point, you could see like water is no more in the liquid state. And why? Because the hydrogen bonding interactions which are happening initially, there was 4 hydrogen bonding interaction, now it is merely 2 hydrogen bonding interactions which are happening at any given point. So this says, because of extra energy we have provided in that form of heat, basically it breaks the hydrogen bonding interaction between water molecules, between the surrounding water molecules, and because of that reason water started from liquid phase to gaseous phase, means it started expanding. So this is how one could explain the phenomena of actual biological phenomena which are happening inside the experiments, during experiments in the maybe in the body or maybe in the lab. We can basically exactly reproduce the same phenomena inside the computers also with the help of mathematical equations, with the help of computational power. So we can reproduce the same phenomena in computers with the help of molecular dynamic simulations. So this is what the power of MD simulations or details of MD simulations, which you can study with the help of computers only. So you really don't need to go back to experiments and perform thousands of such experiments. You can get all the atomic level detail which are happening in the experiments also. So this is what the take home message was. Yes, methodology is efficient and one could use it to study the biological systems also. So in the brief history of this particular molecular dynamic simulations is it all started really long time back in late 50s, 1950s. So basically force field is the main crux of molecular dynamic simulation. It is all based on force field, and it was late 1950s when force field started developing by Alder and Wainwright. So he introduced the concept of molecular mechanics to study the heart sphere interaction. So what is molecular mechanics? So if we have all studied the law of elasticity in our +2, I guess. So what happens in molecular mechanics, we consider each atom of an element as a rigid sphere. We just ignore electrons and protons or neutrons, whatever present inside it, because we can't consider it in that state of molecular mechanics. We consider it as a rigid body, and whenever two atoms which are coming towards because of intermolecular forces, we can study those forces, we can govern those forces with the help of force field. So this is what whole molecular mechanics is about. So it is about considering each atom as a rigid sphere, ignoring electrons, protons and neutrons. So there are some limitations, but there are many advantages of molecular mechanics, that you can study any level of system, means protein, DNAs, RNAs, or any level of system using molecular mechanics. So this concept was given in late 1950s, and then it took around 10 years when the concept was given. Many scientists work on it to implement that concept in actually computers and in actually the systems. So in mid 60s, there was a scientist called Professor Anisur Rahman. So basically, he was an Indian scientist from Hyderabad. Then he moved to USA for doing his research, and then he was the first who carried out the molecular dynamic simulations using the concept of molecular mechanics and force field. And he carried out the molecular dynamic simulations to study the properties of liquid argon. So he was the one who is pioneer of molecular dynamic simulations in the biological system, Professor Anisur Rahman. So he is very well known very well known name in the field. And then means he did his MD simulations on liquid argon in mid 60s, but afterwards, like because it was possible to do the MD simulations with the help of that concept of molecular mechanics and force field, scientists started working more and more on it to implement the same methodology to study the protein system or the biological system. And it took almost around 15 years of time in late 1970s. So in between, like in late 60s, there was a scientist called Martin Karplus. He's still alive, and I guess in 2013 he got the Nobel Prize for his discovery in force field. So Martin Karplus is the name who developed who started developing the protein simulations or protein system. It happened in late 1960s. So basically, he started implementing that system in case of biological systems like proteins or ligand molecules. But again, it took around 10 years of time. In late 1970s, the student of Martin Karplus is Andrew McCammon. He is very well-known scientist in the field of molecular modeling. So he did first MD simulation on the protein system, and he did it for the 2 picosecond. So it was the kind of breakthrough study that time, which happened in late 1970s along with the Martin Karplus. He was the student of Martin Karplus. So he's still alive and doing his research. So he did first MD simulation in late 1970s and on the protein system. And though it was small because of the constraints of computational power of that time, but still afterwards, like everybody jumped into it. People started developing the methodologies, people started developing the softwares. And then now you know what is the state of MD simulation. Like you can simulate any type of system with the help of force fields or with the help of molecular mechanics. There are number of molecular dynamic simulation softwares are available in the market. So nowadays almost everybody in the field is doing MD simulation. So this is what the brief history of this, how it is developed from late 1950s till date. So basically, whenever we do MD simulation, there are various time scales which we need to think of, which we need to take care of, and those are nothing but the chemical and biological time scales. So time scales on which you want to see the conformational changes. So imagine you need, so there is an obvious question, like in case of MD simulations, people do ask the question, how many nanoseconds do I need to run the MD simulation, or how long should I go for MD simulations? The obvious answer is what type of biological phenomena which you want to observe. That's the basically, if you can answer that question, it means you can answer how long you should go for. So imagine on this x-axis scale, we have a time scale starting from femtosecond to, let's say, the seconds of scale. And there are various phenomena, biological phenomena or chemical phenomena, which you want to observe. So for example, if you want to observe bond vibrations, so bond vibrations are nothing but how bonds are vibrating. So one need to observe these things in the femtosecond time scale, because in actual environment it happens in a femtosecond time scale. So there are other things like methyl bond rotation or side chain rotations. Those happens at picosecond level of time scale in actual experiments or in actual condition. But there are many other things like how ligand binds, how the loop motion could occur, or how protein ligand system gets stable. So those things happens at the nanosecond level, so 10 to the power minus 9. So that is the reason why whenever you read the paper for protein ligand interaction, you most of the time you see like people perform few hundred nanosecond or few nanosecond of MD simulation, because that particular biological phenomena of protein ligand interaction and its stability happens at the nanosecond scale. But imagine if you want to see the large domain motions or loop motions which are occurring inside the protein structure, one need to look these type of motions in a microsecond time scale, because it takes time to move that particular loop or domain of the protein. And so that is the reason why we need to go for longer time scale, for example microsecond or millisecond, based on the conformational changes which you are occurring, which you want to observe. So for example, if you want to see how ligand get diffused across the membrane, and that also things can happen in the microsecond of time scale. So it takes time to happen that particular biological phenomena which you want to observe. So based on that phenomena, one need to decide how long MD simulation should I run. So even there are studies in which people perform even seconds of MD simulation to see large domain motions or large conformational changes inside the protein which are happening. So this is what is all developed with, because with the help of high performance computers. Like when it all started, there were very primitive computers, then computers evolved eventually, and now we have even GPU cards on which one could even perform the MD simulations in very fast level, like microsecond or millisecond of MD simulations in shorter time. So nowadays, almost all MD simulation software supports the GPU card, and they want us to submit MD simulations on GPU card. Though at present it is costly to buy, like lakhs of rupees you need, but still it makes the studies faster, because on one GPU card one can go up to even 50 to 100 nanosecond of MD simulation in just one go. So this is what is the time scale about. The time scale we need to think of this time scale only based of the biological phenomena which you want to observe. And so this is what it is all evolved from us along with the computational power. So that is the basics of MD simulation. So what those force field are and what it consider, how it is calculated. So as such, this is very complicated in nature. Like if you simply see the molecular dynamic simulation equations or force field equation, you will feel like if you are not from mathematics background or physics background specifically, then it's way hard to understand all things. So I have just simplified it with the whatever knowledge I have and whatever is my understanding, because I am also not from physics background and not from mathematics background. But still, while reading all those things, while understanding the lectures, I came to know about the very basics. I just try to schematically represent it at very basics level. So don't go really detail into it. Just remember few things, like what is the basics of force field is nothing but it is all based on the Newton's second law of motion, which says whenever we apply some force on any type of body, it gets into acceleration. So it achieves some acceleration. So that is what the Newton's second law states, that Newton's second law of motion. So which is acceleration is equal to force divided by mass. And you can see in this particular equation, the mass of atom is constant term, so it doesn't change. What changes is the force. So if you know how much force is acting on this particular body, it means you can calculate the acceleration. So just remember this thing. Now the mass is constant and force is changing, and we need to calculate that force. So to calculate that force, basically we need to see the system. Like let's say the system of 3 atoms, which is 1, 2, and 3. So imagine this is what the system, simplistic system you have. Whenever these atoms are present near to each other, it applies some force on each other. It has some attraction towards each other. It has some repulsion towards each other because of many parameters like van der Waal interactions or ionic interactions or charge or any type of polar, even polar interaction. So there can be, so even you can see like planets, there are gravitational force in between. So similarly, in case of atoms which are very very tiny, so for that it applies van der Waal force on each other. So it means you know like how those two atoms are present in the space, and the force which is, there is some force which is acting on it, and you can calculate that force. So basically force is nothing but the second derivative of energy, like how much energy gets changed when two atoms get closer to each other. And if you derivatize that energy, you will calculate the force basically. So because of that force only, you can see the system changes its position continuously. So you see the position of atom 1 get changed from here to here. Similarly, it second atom changes the position, third atom changes the position. In this way, it's all moving in nature, and it is moving because of that force, because of that energy. It is moving in nature, and the whole idea of molecular dynamic simulation is to calculate what is the next position of this atom. So you know the first position of atom, and you need to calculate that second position of atom, and again it is based on the force and energy. So now the idea is to calculate that movement, how much it is moving and which direction it is moving, and it is all coupled. So all atoms are moving together in any direction at any magnitude. So to calculate that, basically we need to calculate the acceleration. So we can calculate the acceleration if you know the force acting on atom. So you know the force acting on atom by calculating how much energy is being changed between two atoms. So based on that, you can calculate force. And once you calculate the force, you can calculate the acceleration on that of that particular atom. So now once you get the acceleration of atom, you know acceleration is nothing but the velocity divided by time. This is what the simple equation we have. So once you know the acceleration and you know the time, how much time it requires to move from one place to another place, you can calculate the velocity. So velocity can be calculated from acceleration. It's a simple thing. Once you have a value of velocity, so you know velocity is nothing but the displacement upon time. So displacement means the position. It moves from position R1 to R2 in given time. So there is lot of background noise. Could you please, dear participants, please mute, keep it on mute mode.
Surya sir.
Yeah, I request coordinator to just monitor it. You can mute by yourself.
Yes, sir, I'm doing that. Sorry for the disturbance. We will take care of that. You please carry.
Yeah, thank you very much. Yep. So thank you very much. So as I said, like once you have velocity values, you can calculate the distance. Distance means the position R1 and R2. So you know the position R1, and you want to calculate the where is the position after particular time, and that can be calculated by simple equation like velocity is equal to distance upon time. And this is what the simplistic form of it. Once you calculate how much distance it could move, you can calculate its position. So again, whatever I have explained, it all in the scalar quantities, but it is a vector quantity. It also has direction, not only magnitude. So this is what basically happens in the happens in the soft in background, it is way complicated because there are many other factors which comes into picture, like the medium, its effect, and dielectric constant of the medium, and what are the forces acting because of water present in it, because of periodic boundary conditions present in it, and what is time scale. Way complicated equation which we have for doing simplistic representation of it. So hope you got that particular idea now. So how the force fields are calculated? So as I said, force fields are, you can calculate the forces from the energy between two atoms, and how it is calculated is by considering. So long time back I explained about molecular mechanics, in which we consider two atoms as a rigid body, as a spheres, and those are basically attached, let's say, and this bond is nothing but the elastic bond. It's a harmonic bond. It can have reduced length or in length. This is what we calculate because bonds are moving. So similarly, whenever it is between two atoms, it can move. Whenever it's between three harmonic angle, which is nothing but the moving. If it is between four atoms, then it is
I
yeah,
think there is
seems
some.
meeting is got on hold.
There was some, I thought it is on my end, but your voice was dropped.
Is it a problem from my side, the internet connection?
Alankar sir, are you able to hear properly?
Yeah, there's no problem in that.
Is properly audible, ma'am. No problem.
It is
Okay.
audible.
Please carry on, Dr. Prajwal. Dr. Prajwal, can you hear us? I think he got disconnected. He will be joining back then.
Ma'am, he is muted actually somehow.
So hello, is it from my side that it stopped? Hello.
Now we
No, sir,
could hear you.
You are audible, sir. Please continue.
Okay, so it was me. It was from my side the problem occurred.
Maybe, sir, maybe. Now it is fine. You
Okay.
can carry on.
Okay, sure, no problem. So let me get back to the position. Okay. So I hope the screen is visible. Is it?
Yes, sir. It is visible, sir.
Okay, great. Thank you very much. Just in case if there is interruption, just interrupt me in between if it is not audible or visible. So thanks. So this is what I was explaining. So it is not really limited to the atoms which are connected to each other through the bonds, but also one can calculate these energies even those are not connected with bonds. Like if those two atoms are not connected by bonds, it can have electrostatic energy or van der Waals interactions between those two. And based on this interaction, it has some energy, and if you derivatize that particular energy, you get the force. And this is what the complete equation looks like to calculate the energy. Like it's between two bonds, it's between angles, between dihedral angles, and there are many other energetic parameters which are involved in it. So this is what I was emphasizing on. It's a very complicated equations which we have. If you are not from mathematics or physics background, then it is difficult to understand that one. But in simplistic way, you can just remember the things. It is based on Newton's second law of motion, and you need to calculate the acceleration, velocity, and the position. So this is what the basics of force field is and how it is being computed. So even whenever we talk about the force field, there are many force fields which are evolved over the period of time, let's say from late 1950s to the tilde, there are many force field which comes into picture. So those, for example, there is a force field called MMFF, Merck molecular mechanics force field, or Schrodinger supports specifically OPLS force field, and we have developed a force field called OPLS4. So force field is nothing but to basically to describe how molecule looks like and how these particular molecules can move. This is all is defined by force field. Just like I have shown before, like how much the angle should move, how much dihedral angle should move, how much the bond should move. These all things are governed and coded in the force field. So force field is the one which says how much the molecule, how much the bond, how much the angle should move. And to know that thing, software should know that thing with the help of force field. Means every software should have force field inbuilt in it to understand or to run the MD simulations, that how much extent the bond should move. So most of the force field which covers the chemical space, and they can cover the some amount of chemical space. So chemical space means, for example, just take a look here at this particular molecule. You know, like there is a bond, carbonyl group, C double bond O. It is very well known in the chemistry. So every force field knows about this particular bond, how much this bond should move. It is a carbon oxygen double bond we have. Let's imagine this is a bond, and every force field know about this fact, that how much this bond should move, how much this angle should move.
Hello, I think your
Hello.
slides are freezed.
Yes, yes, sir.
We could see
Sir,
the harmonic angle and dihedral angle.
yes, sir. These
Yeah.
three things we have seen.
Okay, okay. So what about now? Is it moving or not?
No, sir.
No.
The
Okay,
things
I
are
just
safe.
reshare it. Reshare it again. No problem.
Okay, sir.
Yep. Here you go. Yep. So what about now? Is it moving or it is still frozen?
Sir, it is still there.
Frozen?
Yes, sir.
Oh, okay. Let me reshare it, the complete stuff. Yeah. Here you go. The screen is visible.
Yes, sir. Now it is shared.
Okay. Is it in full screen now?
Yes, sir. Now it
Yes,
is in
sir.
full screen.
Thanks. Thanks for letting me know. So yeah, technical glitches do happen, and it is better
Yes, sir.
to know about it. So thanks. Thanks again. Yep. So what about now, whether slides are changing?
Sir, this. Sir, this is 13th slide of your presentation.
Yeah. Yeah, 13th. So what
Yes,
about
sir.
now?
This is
Is
14.
it
This is 14, sir,
okay?
but
So yeah. So means slides are changing. Okay, no problem. Yeah. So I hope everybody is able to see the slide 13 now.
yes, sir.
Okay. So while talking, whenever I switch the slide, I will also say like slide 14 or slide 15, and then if it is not happening, just let me know. Okay. So great. So imagine you have this particular. So I was talking about force field and the chemical space. So imagine you have this particular molecule on the screen. It has a carbonyl group, which is C double bond O. And you know, this is very generic in the chemistry, the carbonyl group. So everybody knows about this particular carbonyl group. Everybody knows about its properties, the bond length should be, how much. So all things are already force field software. So everybody knows about it. It's the same way software also knows about it. But imagine you come up with a new bond. Let's there is a bond between these, and imagine this is a new bond. You haven't seen such bond before. So the same way software also don't know about this bond. So what you need to do in this case? In this case, we need to develop particular force field for this particular bond. So, and we need to write its parameter, like how much this bond angle should be, how much the bond length should be. And based on that, we need to write everything in the file, and we call it as a force field file. We need to keep that file inside the software. Then only software understand what this bond is and how much it should fluctuate. So this is what the parameterization means. So most of the force field covers the very well-known chemical space. But in case, so this is what the number of torsion types which are available in other force field. But in case of OPLS force field, you know, it's around more number of torsions. Torsions are nothing but the information about these particular atoms, their angles, their dihedral angles. So in case of OPLS 4 force field, it is very vast in nature. You can see it consists of more than 100,000 torsions which are present. So which could cover most of the chemical space, that is around 96% of chemical space it covers. So it means there are very less molecules or very less torsions which are not even realistic. Those are only left from this, but most of the chemical space is covered inside the OPLS 4 force field, which is developed by Schrodinger. And you can compare it with the existing force field like Merck Mechanics force field. It only covers the 6% of chemical space. It means many of the organic molecules or their combinations are left behind in this force field. So that is the reason why one should have the fully refined and optimized force field available with you to perform the accurate MD simulations. So here I changed the slide to 14. I hope it is visible. And now, so far you have learned about what is the basics of MD simulation, equation wise, what is the history of MD simulation, and what is the basics of force field. So how important it is. So now we are going to see actually what are the steps which you need to follow to do MD simulations in the software. So there are few generic steps which you always need to follow in case of any software in case of MD simulation. And those steps are, so let's say it starts with the protein structure. So you can have protein structure from protein data bank, from where you get the direct crystal structure, NMR structure, or cryo-EM structure. You can also get the protein ligand complex from exercise. You can also get the protein structure from homology model. So from many, there are many sources from which you can get the structure of protein or structure of protein ligand complex for running MD simulations. Once we get the protein structure from, we prepare that protein structure. So we call it as a protein preparation step. So protein preparation is nothing but there can be many problems present in the protein structure. For example, can be missing atoms, missing residues, missing loops, not proper electron densities, so not proper the orientation. So there are many problems which comes with the protein structure from various sources, specifically from protein data bank. So we need to prepare that protein structure using protein preparation wizard of the Schrodinger suite, let's say. So once you prepare that protein structure, we need to build that particular system. So system building is nothing but, I told you, we can simulate the actually experimental conditions. So you have protein structure, we can put it in a water, we can maintain the pH condition, we can maintain the temperature, and then we can study it. Means, so to prepare that system, so if you have a membrane bound protein like GPCR protein or ion channels, you can put it in a membrane, you can solvate it, you can add the ions to maintain the ionic strength, to maintain the pH conditions, you can increase the temperature, and then this is the way we build the system. So to build that system with Schrodinger suite, we have a system builder which is pretty straightforward. I'll just show you the example, and in this, just like a simple, will prepare the complete system for you. And then once you build that particular system, it's time to implement all those equations whichever we have learned so far in the MD simulation engine in the computer, and then computer run MD simulation for few nanoseconds of time scale. So once this MD simulation get done, you will get the trajectory, and then you need to analyze the complete MD simulation trajectories on various parameters, like RMSD, which is root mean square deviation, root mean square fluctuation, RMSF and its interactions. And there are many other factors like radius of gyration, surface areas. On those basis of those parameters, we can analyze the MD simulation trajectory, and it's too complicated to do those things in case of other softwares. But with the help of Schrodinger, I will tell you how easy it is. In just single click, everything happens. So this is what the complete step which you need to follow to run MD simulation. So though MD simulation is just a single step of complete workflow, but you need to follow all the workflow, all steps to do MD simulation and its analysis. So now I move to the slide number 15. I hope it is visible. So as I said, the first step is to get the protein structure from various sources. And once you get the protein structure, you need to basically improve that protein structure by using protein preparation wizard panel. So in Schrodinger suite, you have a single click panel which is called as protein preparation wizard panel, which basically takes care of every possible problem in the protein structure. For example, if there are missing amino acid residues, if there are missing loops, missing atoms, addition of hydrogen, disulfide bonds, treatment of water, and optimization of hydrogen bonding network, energy minimization, everything is taken care of by this single one-step protein preparation panel. So you just need to load your protein structure, open the protein preparation wizard panel and hit run button. In just single click, it goes through all the options one by one in background, and it gives you the final refined protein structure as an output. And that protein structure, you can use it for the molecular dynamic simulations. Before that, you need to run the system builder. So the system builder is nothing but, as I said, you can simulate the experimental conditions. So imagine you have a protein, you have this box, it can resembles to the beaker or test tube. So in this box, you need to put protein, you need to add water to solvate it, you need to add ions, you need to maintain the pH, you need to increase the temperature, and everything is considered inside this box. This is what we call it as system. And for that, it's a system builder module which we have. This is also pretty straightforward. Just load your molecule, open the system builder panel and hit run button. You don't need to do anything. All options which are by default works very fine with it. So this is what the straightforward panel which we have, just 2 clicks, and then it will prepare the complete system for you in just few minutes. Like in just 1 or 2 minutes, it will prepare the complete system. Now you can see the system looks like this. You have protein in middle, all waters are present, ions are present inside it. So this is what we have the system. So this is what very much straightforward in case of Schrodinger suite with the help of system builder model. But believe me, if you use any other software for preparing this system, it's a way hard. You need to do a lot of commands, you need to try it various times to do it. If means of course I have used all software, so that's why I am commenting on it, that I could comment this is way easy as compared to other softwares. But if you are also a user of any other software, if anybody have tried the other software, you might have remember the pain of building this system. So just building system takes days or weeks because it's way difficult. But in case of Schrodinger, it is all handled in very nice way in just single click. So this is what, once we build the system, it's time to run MD simulation. And for that, we have molecular dynamic simulation panel in which you just need to load your complete system. You can see the number of atoms which are present in your system is, let's say, around 47,784 atoms. You just need to load it. And again, you imagine the complexity of calculation. So I have explained the calculations of Newton's second law on 3 atom systems, but imagine you have 47,000 atoms in the protein system and you need to solve that equation 47,000 raised to power number of flexibilities time. So that is what the complexity of, that is why it requires a lot of time, a lot of computational power, because it's very complex calculations which it needs to run on that many atoms that many times. So regarding molecular dynamic simulation panel which we have, it is straightforward panel. Just you need to load the system and specify how many nanosecond do you require. So here it's a total simulation time 10 nanoseconds which you require run to run required to run. You can increase or decrease the time just by increasing or decreasing the number. Simple, nothing else need to be changed, and then hit the run button. So this is what the one click panel for you to run the MD simulation. And once you run the simulation, it takes some time. Like on one GPU, it takes around 50 nanoseconds run, requires 1 day of time. But in CPUs, it is way slow. Like on CPU, one could run 2 to 3 nanosecond per day of simulation time. So that is why it is always suggested to run it on a GPU cards. So once you run the MD simulation, you get the MD simulation trajectory as output, and you can see everything is moving in this particular MD simulation trajectory movie. Protein is there, which is moving, water is moving, and everything is present in the box, like your beaker or test tube, and it is moving. So we are particularly interested in the motion of protein, not in the water, but so we are just looking into protein or protein ligand complex, that how protein ligand complex is present or stable, how it is moving, what are the interactions which are happening in between protein and ligand. This yellow color dash line are nothing but the hydrogen bonding interactions which are occurring between amino acid residues and protein and ligand, and eventually water also comes into picture. It also makes the interaction. So this is what we need to analyze by visualization way. You can analyze the complete trajectory in Schrodinger's Maestro in easiest way. Like you can just play the movie and you can zoom in, zoom out, focus on the ligand to see what interactions are happening, how they are stable, how much time those interactions are stable, whether it is breaking or whether it is making new contacts. In this way, we need to analyze the complete MD simulation trajectory. We also need to analyze how much it is moving in the terms of root mean square deviation of protein, root mean square deviation of ligand, or amino acid residues. We need to calculate all those things in quantitative way in terms of percentage, like out of 1,000 frames, how many frames this particular interaction stable, and how many frames this interaction was not there. So we need to analyze all those things as well as in quantitative way. Visualize way, I have seen it, but to analyze it in a quantitative way, we have a simulation interaction diagram panel which is there, and again this is the SID, simulation interaction diagram analysis panel, in which you just need to load your system and it automatically identify what is protein, it automatically identify what is ligand. You don't need to do anything, and it does the all type of analysis like RMSD, protein secondary structures, root mean square fluctuations, protein ligand interactions, ligand torsions, or ligand surfaces, or its radius of gyration. So everything is being analyzed in this panel. It's a single click panel. Just load your trajectory and hit the run button, and it will do the complete analysis for you, including RMSD values of the protein and ligand system. Then it also calculates the interactions, how long these interactions are there, how stable it is in terms of percentage, in terms of numbers, which residues are interacting, how much it is fluctuating in terms of RMSF, root mean square fluctuations. In terms of interactions, what is the percentage occupancy of those interactions, and what is the secondary structure element of this particular protein structure, whether it is maintained or whether it is changing, and everything is being analyzed in single click using a simulation interaction diagram panel, and it gives you the complete analysis in just one go. So this is what the power of MD simulation analysis done by Schrodinger suite. So that is the reason why I emphasize on it is too easy to do MD simulation in Schrodinger, but it is too difficult to do it in other softwares. So in this way, there are many other things which one could study using Schrodinger suite. Like you can not only study the protein ligand interaction, the example which I have shown, but you can also study the protein motions like breathing motions or opening and closing of channels or various pockets, sub pockets. You can also run free energy perturbation calculations to calculate the accurate binding free energy. One can also go for water map calculations using MD simulations. You can also analyze how the binding site is getting changed, how much the loop is moving. So this is what all type of applications which are there for the MD simulation in the Schrodinger suite, which one can study various type of parameters or conformational changes of the protein or protein ligand complexes. So for that, all tools are present inside the Schrodinger suite itself. If you are familiar with the Schrodinger suite interface, which is Maestro, you would see like there is a task button, and in which you have all those options which are present for like system builder, molecular dynamic simulations. Then you can also study the advanced methods like replica exchange molecular dynamic simulation, meta dynamics MD simulation, then pro binding post meta dynamic simulation, free energy perturbations, protein free energy perturbations, ligand free energy perturbations, and you can also study all type of analysis using various type of analysis tools. So I have just shown you simulation interaction diagram option, but there are many others like simulation quality analysis, which analyze the quality MD simulation trajectory on the basis of energetics. Then simulation event analysis, you can analyze each and every event of MD simulation in particular specific ways. So in this way, there are many tools which are present in Schrodinger suite which help you to analyze all those things. It is not only limited to this particular protein ligand system, but you can also analyze the polymers, let's say, or you can also do the drug formulation studies using Schrodinger suite. Like you can study the polymers, or you can study its properties like thermophysical properties or the strain properties, viscosity, diffusion coefficients. So for example, if you are from the pharmaceutics background and you want to design a new formulation for your drug, you can basically design the new formulation with the help of polymers or different type of excipients in the computers. You can study its properties like how much drug is solubilizing in it, how much drug is releasing from it, what are the properties which are changing. So all those things also you can study with the Schrodinger's material science suite. And so these all options are also there. It is not only limited to the polymers, but you can also study nanoparticles, nanotubes, or any type of novel drug delivery methods which you could think of. All things can be studied using Schrodinger suite. So these all options are also there. Other than that, there are also options for advanced level of MD simulation analysis like binding free energy. Then things comes to the you often heard of the term MMGBSA, binding free energy, that can also be calculated on the MD simulation trajectories using various command lines. Options are also there. Other than that, for example, principal component analysis, normal mode analysis. So these are all are advanced analysis. If you are very thorough in the field of MD simulations, you could you might have heard of these terms like PCA analysis, N mode analysis, clustering analysis. So those analysis can also be done with the Schrodinger suite. So almost every type of analysis can be done. So it's all pretty straightforward in case of Schrodinger suite, which you can analyze and which you can study using Schrodinger suite. So I hope so far you have got the idea. But the best thing with Maestro comes is the help button. So whenever you are stuck at some point, whenever you have any questions, so you can. So this is what the Maestro interface you have. You always have the F1 help button which we have. So if you simply go to help and help, so it will open the Schrodinger's help panel, in which you can find various tutorials, manuals, and descriptions of all options, the steps which you need to follow. If you want to read it by yourself, then everything is present here. You can simply follow it, and you're able to understand and able to solve the problem. But even if you don't want to read those tutorials and manuals, so we are there to help you out. So for that, here I would like to acknowledge my team who are working there in the Bangalore office. So we all are there to help you out in case of any problems related to the software, all scientific and technical queries. So this is what I was mentioning. So you can always go to help button and read the literature which is present there. But if you don't want to read, you can simply give a call or give an email to us, and then we will help you out with these queries. So this is what our application scientist teams is doing in the Bangalore office. So we are always there to help you out. So in this case, you can always contact us for any type of scientific queries. So before concluding the session, I would like to mention the thing that if you really like the software and if you want to try it for free, so as such software is paid, one need to pay for it, but we also provide the free evaluation of software suite for 1 month. That is the limited time. But if you really like the it is absolutely free. All modules of the software, including everything, every possible thing in computer aided drug designing is free for 1 month. So we provide that 1 month of evaluation of the software to the person who wants to try it. But of course, one need to come through proper channel. Like if you are a student, then you need to come through your guide or your supervisor or HOD, head of the department, or dean or director or the principal of college. Then we will definitely give you that 1 month of free evaluation. And it's not only about giving the software, but we also spend 1 month of time with you for in-person training, which is again free of cost. And in this 1 month of time period, we make sure that you learn as much as possible with the case studies or with the project, with your actual project. So basically the flexibility is, in this 1 month of time period, you can not only learn the software, but you can also run through your project and you can get the data done. You can also publish your paper. So there are many people who even publishes the paper in 1 month of time period by generating the data. So this is also flexibility which you have, and we have no objection on it. You can publish also paper if you learn it sufficiently. But from our side, we always emphasize on try using various modules of the software during this free evaluation period. If you like it, then of course you can go for purchase. If you don't want to purchase, that is also fine. So no problem with it. You can always go ahead with the software trial. So with this, I would like to say thank you to, first of all of you, and thank you to the organizers of this event, and specifically for Dr. Vaishali Patil, who gave me opportunity to present this particular work in this particular event. So thank you very much. And now I would like to open the session for question if you have, and I'll be happy to answer all of your questions. Yes. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Uh,
Thanks a lot.
and now the session is open for participants to ask any question related to the topic.
I could see Dr. Sachin Ladda has raised his hand. Please allow him. You can unmute yourself and ask the question. Dr. Sachin?
Pajwal, I just want to know two things from your end. As far as Schrödinger's software is concerned. For example, if I'm running some sort of
Dr. Sachin, your voice
task
is
or
not
project.
clear.
So, am I audible, sir?
Hello?
Hello.
Yeah, now you
Yes,
are
sir.
Am I
audible.
Yes,
audible,
sir.
sir?
Now you're audible.
Please ask your questions.
Dr. Pajwal, I have two questions with me. One is there any possibility of pausing the work done during what we say for example, I'm doing some sort of molecular modeling study or say molecular dynamics type of study, and during that particular act, suppose my computer gets shut down, so I have to do the entire thing one more time, or the software is having pause type of thing in it. That's question number one. And question number two,
Uh,
sorry, sir. Sorry. The, the question number two, you just mentioned you are providing some sort of 1 month evaluation copy. Along with that evaluation copy, can we get free training?
Yeah, I could hear the question, but it was not continuous. So, from organizers, can anybody
Yes,
please
yes.
repeat the question?
Yeah. He wanted to know that does your software have any like pause button if we are running some modeling project, and if in between there is disturbance in power backup, will it automatically pause the modeling and will it resume itself? And the second thing that the free trial which you are giving for a month, will it be accompanied with a demo or training?
Yes. Okay. So the first question, just in case, like if it got interrupted because of power cut or something, so whether it has a restart options. if I guessed correctly. So yes, we have
Right.
restart options, like you don't need to start the job again from the first step. It can just start it from wherever it left because of power cut, but it doesn't happen automatically. Basically, imagine if power cut happens, your computer gets shut down. It's not only computer, but everything gets shut down, including software. So you need to start the software and you need to restart the job from where it got killed, let's say. So you need to do it manually. It is not automatic thing, but yes, we do have option to start it. And this is what very used option, like people do use, because that's a very common problem many people face about it. And for every task, molecular docking, dynamics, pharmacophore, for every task we have that option. Wherever it got killed, you can start it from that point only. You don't need to repeat everything. And then coming to the second question, whether this free evaluation is accompanied with training. So yes, absolutely. So we provide one-to-one training to that particular person or the group of person who wants to have that evaluation version of software. It's all one-to-one personal training, and we spend as much as time you want. Like we can have even multiple sessions throughout the period of evaluation, like 1 month. We can have daily sessions on it too. So the idea is to train you. So you need to try all the possible methods, whichever you want to learn. That is the idea, is to train you. So we don't have any time restriction and no bar from our side. It's all, you can always give us a call. We can always have online training through TeamViewer or through AnyDesk to make you learn better way. So yes, it is all coupled with everything, training demo.
Thank you,
So I
Dr.
hope
Prag.
the question of Dr. Sachin Ladda is answered. Next we have Mr. Shashank. Shashank, sir, you're
Hello.
not answered?
Am,
Yes, sir. Shashank, sir?
Hello.
Yes, sir, you're
Am
audible
I
now.
audible?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Sir, your lecture is very informative for me. And I have heard your lecture previously at Ramaiah University. Sir, I just want to ask, is Desmond is freely available?
Yes, answering to your question, Shashank, first thing is thanks. You have attended that Ramaiah University workshop also. So,
Yes.
yes, of course, Desmond is actually free software. So it was developed by DE Shaw Research Group, and that is freely available for academics. But that doesn't comes with the all modules of analysis and the force field. So that free
Okay.
Desmond is available. You can go to DE Shaw website and download the software and use it, but it doesn't come with the Schrodinger's force field, which I have mentioned specifically is OPLS 4 force field. That is a proprietary force field for Schrodinger that is only available with Schrodinger. And second
Sir,
thing is the analysis tools. So Schrodinger people, the scientists, they work in background to make those analysis tools to make your life easy, because you are a paid customer. So if you buy it from Schrodinger, you will get all that facility, including training and personal attention. But if you use the free software, then you need to write your own script. You need to do it by yourself, and you don't get that force field. You'll get the some freely available force field, which is OPLS 2005, but that was really old, like developed in 2005. You know, and in computational field, the field get changes day by day. Like one, it is not at all suggested to use 10-15 year old stuff now, because it was way behind the time. So that's the only difference. Otherwise, you can use it for free also.
sir, my second question is, I have read many papers, and in few papers, MD simulation is denoted as classical MD simulation. So what is the difference between classical MD simulation and normal MD simulation? Is there any difference between this?
So the normal MD simulation which you are saying is basically a classical MD simulation. So classical MD simulation, we use this term when we follow the Newtonian's equation, so Newtonian's law of motion. So this is all covered under classical MD simulation, and this is what we discussed. So classical means which is a routine in general. So this is what we follow, but there are other type of MD simulations which are non-equilibrium MD simulations, and those are considered as a non-classical MD simulations. So most of the time, in paper you see for protein ligand interaction, for conformational changes, for energy calculations, those all follows the classical MD simulation, which is Newtonian, which follows the Newtonian law of motions.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Hmm.
Next, there is Paratpar Sarkar, Mr. Paratpar Sarkar from SBSR. You can unmute yourself, sir.
Hello, am I audible?
Yes, sir, you are audible. Please carry on.
Sir, I would like to know from you that it's the lecture is a very nice lecture, and I would like to know that if we use this software, then uh, is my computer will allow, because I am having i3 processor computer. Can I use this software, the Dynamics, in this particular i3 laptop, or whether it will hang if I use it? Or do I
Yeah,
need
it's
a high-end computer to use the Dynamics? Because as far as I know that it needs some kind of supercomputer to do all this.
Yeah, it's a really good question which I missed to discuss. So it is always worth to discuss about the configuration of computer whenever we talk about computer-aided drug designing methods. So basically, 10-15 years before, it was possible to run this software on i3 machine, because that time computer was not evolved much, but now everything is evolved lot. So accordingly, software is also evolved, and to perform these high-end computational studies, you need to have good computer. So there are two requirements. First thing is you need to have at least i5 or i7 processor machine with you to run the Schrodinger software. If it is less than that, like i3 or Core 2 Duo or dual core, then that's too old machines, and software doesn't run on those machines now, because to run all type of computer aided drug designing methods, you need efficient computer. At least it is at least i5 or i7, and more than that. So that is for the in general Schrodinger software. Just to install that software and run it, you need i5 or i7 processor. But if we are talking about MD simulations, so it is very much computationally expensive as well as time consuming, and it generates lot of heat while running. So it needs the special computer, and this is what I mentioned. It needs the GPU cards to run MD simulations, and it needs to have Linux operating system. So these two requirements must be satisfied to run MD simulation. And in case of general Schrodinger, you can run it on i5 or i7 Windows machine also.
So it's a general one. It cannot do that MD simulation. If I want to know that what is the interaction in a nanosecond scale or with certain temperature, so that simulation study and the result that we will get, that cannot be obtained using computer, no laptop, or that.
There are, so not only not with your probable laptop, but there are even laptops which comes with the GPU cards. So if you have heard of gaming laptops specifically, that Dell laptops which are specifically made for gaming purpose, those laptops are enabled with GPU cards, and their price starts with, I guess, 1 lakh onwards, 1,20,000 onwards. So those laptops are there who are able to run MD simulations also, in case of Linux operating system, because those are enabled with GPU card. But in general, normal laptop doesn't have those features.
So supercomputer is another option where can be done.
Yeah.
चल रहा है बताइए क्लास नहीं सेमिनार चल रहा है। कर लो बाद में बताइए अभी नीचे कंप्यूटर वाली।
Hello, am I audible?
Yeah. Yes.
Thank you,
Yes,
sir. Thank
you
you.
are audible. Are there any other questions? I think all are resolved. Okay, Dipti ma'am, please carry on.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Dr. Prajwal Nandikar, for your wonderful session. So it would be really a great pleasure for us to hear from you again in near future. So now I would like I would request Dr. Alankar sir to please give the concluding remarks. Dr. Alankar Srivastava sir.
Yeah. Thank you, madam.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Uh, Thank you, Dr. Prajwal, for your highly informative, valuable, and very interesting presentation. Thank you, sir, for sharing your profound knowledge on the topic of molecular dynamic simulations and applications in drug delivery in a very practical and crystal clear manner. Now, I would like to share some important takeaway of the session. Firstly, you explained some basics of drug design, that is how drug binds to enzymes and receptors. Then difference between the crystal structure published and the actual protein structure, and how computers or softwares are helpful in determining the actual structures of proteins. Then you explained about the molecular docking, induced fit docking, and molecular dynamic simulations. You explained importance of molecular simulations very nicely using example of water molecule at different temperatures. A brief history of this technique, the chemical and biological protein timescales, basics for the calculation of positions of atoms, how drug discovery perform using molecular docking, how to use software to simulate the experimental conditions. Sir, despite of many technical glitches, you presented your topic very well, sir. See, the topic you presented is very relevant and totally fits into the scope of our FDP. Sir, thank you. It was really a very nice and informative session for all of us. Thank you for your giving your valuable time, sir. Again, thank you, sir.
Thank you, Alankar sir. So now I request Dr. Alankar sir to please present a certificate of gratitude to our keynote speaker, Dr. Prajwal Nandikar, as a small token of remembrance of this event.
Mr. Surya sir, please share your screen.
Surya sir.
Already shared, ma'am.
Oh.
It is not visible, sir. Please check it again.
Is not visible right now.
Ma'am, first sir need to
Unshare.
remove the PPT.
Dr. Prajwal, please unshare stop your presentation. There will be a button stop presenting. Please click that.
Yeah, I think I have already stopped the presentation.
Yeah, because I am not even able to see any presentation. Surya
We
sir,
can
please
see.
reshare your screen.
Currently, we are able to see Dr. Prajwal's screen.
Really? Uh, no, nothing is shared from my side.
Okay,
Yes.
sir.
Praveen sir, if you are there using your system, please do that. There might be some network issue on their end. Praveen sir, Vidhu ma'am, any one of you?
Till now, we have seen the certificate of sir. It was displayed.
Just give me a minute, I'm doing it.
Okay,
Yeah, I am
please.
doing just no problem.
Praveen sir is there.
Yes, actually I shared already, but I don't know why.
There is, I think, some freezing of the screen or some issue is there.
Nobody is visible.
Screen is freezed.
Sorry, sir, I can't see your screen.
Ma'am, it is visible now. I can see the certificate from my screen.
Actually, Prajwal sir has shared his PPT, I think. So that is why nothing can be visible.
Uh, from me, like it is not shared. Even I closed the PPT also. I think it is still stopped. No, nothing. I have the sharing button active actually. Means I could share it, but I did not share anything now. It's all closed from my
And
side.
you are presented, so you could see the screen. See the sharing option.
So
Is it
maybe
there now?
whoever.
Yes, ma'am, I can see.
Can
I
you
can
see
see
this?
the. Yes.
Dr. Prajwal, could you see my screen now?
Nothing. No, no. I cannot see anything.
I think.
Just I can
Okay.
see the
Actually,
videos
I
of
also
all of you.
shared my screen. Okay.
No.
So maybe you
That
just
is the
remove
problem
me from
actually.
Yeah,
presenter.
I will mail you that, and I don't know
Yeah.
what are the,
Ma'am, just give me a
because I
minute.
also
Just
tried
give me a
to
minute.
share.
Can I make him attendee so that
Hello.
Hello, ma'am. I think
There
now we
are,
can see
yeah,
Praveen
now
sir.
it is
Yeah,
visible.
yes, Dr. Prajwal,
Yes, yes.
thank you
Now
so
it is.
much. And
Sir, on the
Faisal, now
behalf of
thank you very
IT
much
School
for
of
the token
Pharmacy,
of appreciation.
thank you, sir.
please accept this
Thank you,
certificate.
sir. Thanks a lot,
So
sir.
Thank you,
thanks
sir.
again.
Thank you. And sir, we would like to connect with you in the future also to increase the expertise in these topics.
Thank you, Dr. Prajwal
Yes,
Nandikar.
please do contact me. I am happy to present whatever information.
Thank you, Dr. Prajwal,
Yes,
once
sir.
again,
Thank you, sir.
and see you again in future. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Thanks a lot for sharing your wonderful
Thank you, sir.
experiences and your knowledge here. Thanks a lot, sir.